How we doing? How we doing? Check, check. How we doing out there? Can you guys all see me today? Man, I feel like it's been a million years since I've live streamed on the channel. It's been actually, I don't even know now, probably 2 months. So I feel like I've been missing in action. But we're here. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces in the chat today. People I saw at Vid Summit, which was a ton of fun. If you guys didn't go, that was great. Say hello to my pal Andrew Can, Star Academy Gaming. Say hi to Vigard, Jay Malone in the house. Some great people. Listen, today I want to talk to you guys about how to get more views on YouTube. And I know you guys have heard this a lot, like, there's always these tricks to get more views. But this is something I actually talk about a lot. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Daniel Batal. I'm a content creator. I also work for TubeBuddy as their crash test dummy, and I'm a professional channel consultant. Some of you might have come by the TubeBuddy booth at Vid Summit and talked to me about your channels and worked on strategies to try to get a little more traction. Then some of the things we're going to talk about today are the very same things that I talk about in the individual channel consultations. So I want to get right into it. I don't want to waste a lot of your time. I want to give you information. Hopefully it's valuable. So the first thing let's talk about, when you have a YouTube channel, the first thing that you need to put all of your focus on is one very simple thing, and that is discovery. And discovery is the ability to have your videos be found on the platform, right? And it's one of those words where it's like, well, you go, discovery, well, what does it really mean? I get it. People can find my videos. That's probably important, right? That the stuff I put out actually ends up in front of people. But sometimes people get really confused about how to go about doing it and how to get their content discovered. So one of the things you have to really understand is how content gets served to viewers. And there's three simple ways. There's three main ways that your content on YouTube will end up in front of a viewer. And we call those traffic sources, places that will drive traffic back to your content, where people will find it. I mean, there's many smaller sub-levels, but the main three that we talk about are search, suggested, and browse. Now, suggested and browse are what we call recommended content. That's when YouTube is taking your content and actively putting it in front of potential viewers who might want to watch it, who might want to engage with your content. A lot of you guys know about search because you've used YouTube as a search engine. Then you've used some of the TubeBuddy tools like Keyword Explorer to actually try to improve your keyword ranking and find some targets, so that when you make videos, you go, okay, I want to have a better chance of those coming out and being placed in front of people. If they search, maybe my video will show up. But the fastest way to grow a channel on YouTube is really when YouTube starts recommending your content. And sometimes that can be kind of tricky if you don't know what that means, like what that is. You might say, well, how do I get that to happen? Is there a specific way to get my content to actually be recommended? And there actually is. And I want to talk to you about some of those traffic sources and see if you can have this make sense a bit. So the three main traffic sources, again, search, suggested, and browse. And one thing I like to point out to people is what the difference between suggested and browse is, because sometimes people don't really understand what each form of recommended is. And suggested videos are traffic from suggestions that appear next to or after other videos, and also from links in video descriptions, which I have highlighted for a very specific reason. Browse is a very similar thing. It's still YouTube recommending your content. It's just recommending it in a different place. And that's typically on people's home screens, like right when they log in to YouTube. That's where it's going to pop up and go, all right, it's right there before I've even started going into my channel at all. And also in places like the subscription feed, where you've subscribed to so many different channels, and the videos will pop up as the subscribed channels have put out some new content, and they'll put it in front of you. But one thing I really want you to focus on here is the fact that in suggested, this is straight from the horse's mouth. YouTube tells us that suggested traffic includes videos that are found from links in video descriptions. And there's a reason that that's super important. Because you can put links in your own descriptions and actually start becoming your own best suggested. A lot of people say to me like, Daniel, like, I kind of get shown, I show up in search. I kind of know how to do that. I've recommended my videos on Facebook or on Twitter, and that drives some external traffic, which is good. But I never seem to be able to get YouTube to recommend my content. Well, one of the things you can do is start thinking about how to actually recommend your own content to start influencing the way that viewers behave. You can be your own best suggested. That's something that actually can be important. And when you think about some of the other traffic sources, when I talk about browse, like I said, on the home screen in the subscription feed, well, one of the things that YouTube came out and mentioned about a year ago was that they were actually doing tests. And even though our subscription feed, we think, is just when our channels that we've subscribed to have uploaded a video, YouTube has been running some experiments where they actually start arranging the subscription feed so that the channels that you engage with more tend to show up higher in that subscription feed. So there's a bit of understanding these traffic sources and what influence we might have on them, right? And I really want you guys to understand what that means when we're talking about that most important thing, discovery, how people are gonna be served, stumble across, find our videos. So listen, there's two real ways to deal with this whole discovery thing, right? How discovery is a very simple idea of, how people find your videos. So when we think about what we can really nail into, how can we control that? We talked about the fact that we can actually use keywords, right? So when we build our titles and we start putting together ideas of content that we want to make, we can use tools like TubeBuddy's Keyword Explorer and go, all right, before I make a video, I want to think about, I've got a target audience I'm trying to reach. If I'm a cooking channel and I'm just going to say, all right, listen, I make recipes and I put them up on my channel. Instead of just deciding to make baklava or couscous or whatever the recipe that you happen to want to make right now, you can actually use the Keyword Explorer to find keywords that people are looking for, that are popular, that are relevant. And maybe that's chicken dishes, right? But you know that there's 1,000 people, a million people that have made chicken dish recipes. So you have to use keywords to find which topic might have a little bit of opportunity for your channel to rank. And then we start researching things like, are there different chicken recipes? Maybe a chicken piccata or a 30-minute chicken piccata recipe might be the video you want to make because people look for it. And research shows you that you could actually rank for something like that instead of just putting up a chicken recipe. And I think a lot of you guys understand that. It makes a lot of sense because you can grasp onto, I make titles, I use keywords, I'm going for search, and that's how I'm going to be discovered. But there's another piece to this equation that I don't think enough people understand, because search is actually the smallest traffic source of the top three. And like I said, when YouTube starts recommending your content, that's when your channel can really explode. So what we really want to start talking about is a different thing, which isn't just the keywords and how they're going to show up. We want to think about how to be compelling. And that's a weird thing to understand. And I want to make sure I can get this through to you. Compelling is its own beast. When a video is really optimized in a way that it just grabs your attention and you want to watch it, that's compelling. Now, sometimes that means you have a video that actually has a lot of keywords and relevant targets in it that are out there that are optimized for your target audience, and you've written a title in a way that really grabs the viewer and brings them in. But sometimes it's not about that at all. Sometimes it gets into an entirely different place that doesn't make sense. I've had a lot of people come to me and say, Daniel, I came across this channel and they're getting a ton of views and none of those videos look optimized to me. I don't understand it. None of the keywords look right. Everything looks wrong, but they're driving a ton of views. How the heck are they doing it? Well, they're compelling. They are compelling. If you guys are at VidSummit, or if you're not at VidSummit and you just happen to be a fan of some of the bigger YouTube channels out there, you might be familiar with a guy named Mr. Beast, right? He's got a channel that it just kills it. He puts up a video and within hours, he's got tens of millions of views. But his content sort of defies the whole keyword thing that we always talk about. And people get confused, like, how is he getting so many views when the things he's talking about don't seem to be optimized for search? Well, he's not going for search. He's not going for search. His idea is, I'm going to try to make videos that when people stumble across them, it grabs you and you say, well, I have to watch this. I have to watch this. Something he did recently Let me show you one. He put out a video that was this one. This was 3 days ago. He put this video out. And this was his thumbnail. And what it was, let me get some of this. Let me see if I can get the background out of here so you can actually see the whole thing. This was it. This was his thumbnail. And it's 4 guys with their hands on a boat. And it says day 2. And you're like, well, what the heck kind of video is this? And it's really kind of interesting. But what it is, this was the title for that video. Last to take the hand off the boat keeps it. Which is like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. These guys just put their hands on a boat and the last guy who takes his hand off gets to keep the boat? That's like super compelling. This is the kind of thing you go, listen, I don't know that if you searched and did research on if anyone has ever searched for last to take hand off boat keeps it. But if you saw this come across your screen, you'd be like, wow. Okay, listen, I want to see who took their hand off the boat last. I can see it says day 2. They got 2 days into it. How long did these guys go? And that's what we talk about when we start talking about being compelling. He has a video on his channel that was, will 40,000 M&Ms flush? I have no idea if they will. But I tell you what, I clicked on that video and I watched because it was compelling. It drew me in. It had nothing to do with keyword research. It had everything to do with being so compelling that I was like, wow, man, I want to see this. So one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is not just always optimizing for search. Search is great. It's a great way for small channels to get their foot in the door. But one of the things I want you to experiment is trying to bring in compelling elements. Don't just always go for, if you're a gamer, don't just go for, Fortnite Battle Royale level, blah, and just lay it on there as a term that someone might search for. Try to put compelling elements in there. Try to add things and twist to it that say things like, 3 tricks to win your first, Battle Royale, battle. Tips, things that bring people in, something that's compelling, something that makes someone go, oh, I want to watch that because I can either learn something or he's going to show me something. It's not just those big keyword-rich titles. It mix some compelling elements in there and draw them in. Talk about things like things you need to know, right? Right? If you're going to make a chicken recipe, we're talking about chicken. I'm on a chicken thing today, I guess. I must want chicken. I might be hungry. If you're going to make a chicken recipe and you're going to be chicken piccata, then you might want to put up there in your title something like the best chicken piccata recipe in under 20 minutes, right? And you could tell some, oh, wait, now I can make this in under 20 minutes. So if you're out there and you go, man, I got to make dinner fast. This one looks good. Little compelling element in there can really push your video to a new height other than just the keyword research. So really try to absorb some of that compelling, powerful. When we were at Vid Summit, Mr. Beast actually, he went up and spoke. He had a whole hour where he talked to everybody about his success, and it was really funny. There were some people who walked away from his whole speech and everything he was teaching everyone, and they went, well, I didn't really learn anything new. I walked away saying he was fantastic because he told us how simple it was. Make sure you got great titles. Be compelling. He was really funny. He's had simple things. When he was showing off one of his videos, in this one you can see, he goes, I blur the background of my video a little bit so the people stand out and like the boat's a little blurred. And I put in elements like day 2 so people go, oh, it's at least 2 days long. And then I just go for really compelling titles. Last to take hand off, boat keeps it. Those little things that really just grab people, and it's not super complicated. It's all about trying to grab those people and bring them in. And here's the reason that's important. The way that YouTube serves videos to people, right? We're all building channels. We're all trying to connect with people. When you put a video out, YouTube takes that video and it puts it in front of your most active subscribers, people who have clicked the bell notification or all notifications, or even not even necessarily subscribers, people who have engaged with your channel a lot recently. A lot of times I work with channels and I'll sit there and go through them and look at their videos and give them some strategy advice. And the very next day, all of their videos are all suggested to me. They're all recommended content, right? Because YouTube saw me inside of someone's channel watching the videos, talking to people, but they just assumed, well, as a viewer, Daniel, you must like this channel because you spent a ton of time here. So that became really important to YouTube, what I was doing as a viewer. So YouTube will take your new video right when you publish it. Now, you might have 10,000 subscribers. You might have 100 subscribers. In either case, not all those people are going to be served your video when you publish. Only a small section, that most active group. Right? So YouTube puts that video out in front of them, and what it does is it sits and it waits, and it starts judging based on how those viewers react to the video. Now, if those viewers click and they watch and they click quickly, like they don't scroll past your thumbnail and come back to it later, if it pops up in a notification, or if they come onto YouTube right onto the homepage and there's your new video, and they go, oh, new video out, I want to check this out, and they click and they watch a good portion of it, well, then YouTube gets the signal that that's a good video because your audience, the most active ones, they reacted to it really quickly, right? So then YouTube steps back and goes, oh, okay. Those guys really liked it. Let me do this. Let me serve that video out to a slightly larger audience. Maybe your slightly less active viewers, or even viewers who have similar viewing habits to the people who are really active on your channel, right? They start pushing it out a little. And then they do the same thing. They stand back and wait. And they see what that slightly larger group does. Did they like it? Did they click? Did they watch? Did they watch for a good amount of time? Watch time, right? And if they did, YouTube says, okay, let's repeat that process with a slightly larger audience. So when we talk about how a video takes off, it's all about not YouTube recommending your content. It's about your video connecting with a target audience, that audience sending really good signals back, like, hey, we loved it. And it doesn't have to be 1 million people. It only has to start with that small group of really active viewers, right? They like it, push it out a little farther. Hopefully the next group likes it too, right? And then when they like it, it gets pushed out farther. And when you get one that really connects with a lot of people, that's when you see videos really start to gain traction. They really start to get going, right? So now knowing that, you start asking questions like, well, okay, Daniel, I get it. All right, so you're saying it's important for my videos to connect with my target audience. I kind of know that. But do you really put faith in it? Because I think a lot of people put out videos and they kind of just throw them out there and go, well, that went or it didn't go. I'll just try another one. But there's things you can actually learn. There's things you can actually influence. And I want to talk to you about some of those influences. So knowing that when you put a video out, right, the minute you put a video out, it goes to your most active subscribers first. And I don't care if you're a very small channel or a bigger channel. It's not everybody. It's not all your subscribers. It's that small cluster of the most active ones, right? And we're trying to make sure that they get served our new video, and we hope that we've done a really good job and they like the video. So one of the things you really want to think about is, well, who are those most active subscribers? Who are those people who are getting my video first? Because it seems like they're really important, and they are. They're super important. If we can connect with those people, that means we might do better as everything gets pushed out. So I want to talk to you about how you can improve and increase the amount of active subscribers and viewers on your channel, right? You can do that. You can do that. One of the things we know, YouTube's going to put in front of people and they're going to judge it. You go, okay, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to make more viewers and subscribers active on my channel. Well, how do you do that? How do you do that? Is there a magic button? Well, there's actually a few little magic buttons you can use. Let's talk about those, okay? There are 4 places in any video where you can recommend your content. Really, really cool to know, right? If you got a video that starts doing well, you're sitting back going, man, my video's doing great, love it. Person watching the video is going, fantastic, I love this video. YouTube is thinking, what can I serve this viewer next to keep them watching? Keep them on the platform, right? That's our job. Get them here, keep them watching. Get them watching, keep them watching. That's our job. So we know YouTube's going to recommend something to that person to try to keep them on the platform, keep them watching. What you want to do is beat YouTube to the punch and have your piece of content be the next thing that they watch. And that's important in so many ways. There are 4 ways that you can do that. You can put your other videos in your end screens, in your cards, down in your description, and in your pinned comment. Pinned is important because that comment stays at the very top of all the comments, no matter how many come in, whether it's 2 or 2,000, yours is always on top. So let's say someone's watching your video. They're watching it. They're like, this is a pretty good video. I really like this. Maybe it's a gaming. Maybe it's that chicken channel I was talking about. I'm all about the chicken. And they're going, this is really good. I wonder if they have any more content like this. Well, before the video even ends, 80% or more through, you can throw a card up. And you can say, hey, if you're liking this recipe, I have another couple of recipes you might want to check out right up here. Boom, point up, card, bang. Get that in there. On the end screen, when the video ends, put that video there again. That's a perfect place. Boom. Recommend another piece of content, right? Right in the end screen. Want another chicken recipe? Hey, before you go, I got another one you might like. Your description. Put a link in your description. Do you remember when we were just talking about the traffic sources? Traffic sources. Suggested videos are videos that are viewed from links in the video descriptions, right? That's it. They're telling you how you can improve your suggested. Use your description. Put a video down there. Make sure you link it. Right after your description, right after you talk about your video, make that your first link right up top. Then you can put stuff like subscribe, things underneath. Our number one goal is we're going to try to be our own best salesperson and get someone watching the video they're watching now to watch another one. And I'm going to explain why that's important in a minute. Now, that pinned comment, too. Maybe they like this video and they go, wow, this was a really good chicken recipe. And they go, I'm going to go leave a comment and tell them this was a pretty good recipe. So they scroll down, and the minute they scroll down there, boom, there's another link to another thing that you're calling out. Boom, I've got a 15-minute chicken recipe. Check this one out. Maybe you don't have 20 minutes. Maybe you only have 15. Well, that's pretty cool because now you can get them in 4 different places to potentially hear you saying, check this one out. Hey, you're here? Check this one out. Oh, while you're here, check this one out. Oh, check that one out. That's you being your own best salesperson. Let me explain why this is so important. You might think, well, that's kind of cool, right? I'll get someone to watch one more video. That's one more view. That's fantastic. It's more than that. It's more than that. YouTube sends our content out to our most active subscribers, right? That small group that are really engaged, have been watching videos, leaving comments, doing things like that. What you want to do is sneak in there and say, I got this. I got this figured out. If I can get that one viewer who's watching one video to watch one more, or maybe even a third, because I recommended my content all over inside of my video, cards, end screens, descriptions, pinned comment, that makes that viewer more active. They're a more active subscriber or viewer. So that person, not only do you gain the extra view from each time someone does that, but that more active subscriber is more likely to be served your content the next time you upload. Because YouTube takes that into account. This person's been watching your channel, watched a few videos the other day. Oh, he's got a new video out. Let's push it out to that person who's there watching more than one video. You influenced that behavior. You made that person more active. That was you putting your thumb on the YouTube scale and saying, I get it. It's about being active. But it doesn't end just there, right? So that one viewer, you've upped the ante, right? You've made them more active. But guess what? When another person comes along and is watching your video for the first time they've ever seen it, they're on your channel checking it out, going, man, this is pretty good. I love this video. I really like it. You're recommending your content all over it. YouTube is trying to figure out what to serve that viewer next to keep them watching. One of the things they do, we talked about this, is they actually look at previous viewers, similar viewers with similar viewing habits and behaviors, and see what they watched next. What did the last guy watch? What did he watch that kept him on the platform? Well, if you got the last guy to click another one of your videos, you have influenced that viewer's behavior and you've increased the chances of the next guy being recommended more of your content. Do you see? Do you see what that does? You're standing in there saying, listen, I am going to be my own best salesman and I'm going to influence viewer behavior everywhere because YouTube puts all of its efforts into figuring out viewer behavior. That's the money pot. That's where YouTube says, this is how we're going to recommend channels. Channels that do a really good job of connecting with audience, keeping them on the platform, getting them watching, keeping them watching. Those are the channels we're going to recommend more often. So if you become your own best suggested, your own best recommended, pushing that audience, teaching them, hey, if you watch one, my goal is to get you to watch two. I want to see you watch two because you may not have been subscribed yet, but if you do, I got you on the hook. And I want to talk to you about another thing here. Listen, people, we get all wrapped up in how many subscribers we have, right? How many subscribers we have. It's not all about subscribers. Subscribers as a metric means a lot less than you think it does. It's the ability to connect with your audience. You could have 100 subscribers, but if you have all of the people who roll across your channel and see your content, love it, engage with it, and they keep watching, but they just choose not to subscribe, it's just as good because the goal here is to get them watching and keep them watching. Your stuff will be recommended just as much. Those same people who interact with your content, whether they're subscribed or not, will still be served your content more often. So that's the real goal. Subscribers don't equal views. I've seen channels with thousands of subscribers. They put a new video up, 50 views, 80 views. And they're like, I don't understand it. I've got so many subscribers and I don't get any views. Because subscribers don't equal views. Views typically equal subscribers. If you get people watching, if you get them engaged, if you get them to watch multiple pieces of your content, you're far more likely to have those people become invested in your channel, hit the subscribe button just so that they know where you're at, they can come back to it, and they can find more of your great content. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everyone out there? Really take hold, take charge of your channel. One of the things we talk about a lot is all of the different analytics that we can use. Things like CTR. I see so many creators get wrapped up in, their click-through rate and their average view duration and their audience retention, which is all super, super important stuff. It's really great to know. I suggest everyone learn analytics and what those things mean. But you have to understand all of those things are subjective. One thing that a lot of people don't know, they look at CTR and they go, what's your click-through rate? I'll tell people, well, that video got, like a 4.7 click-through rate percent. And they go, oh, that's not very good. I got 10.2. Yeah, well, it depends on how many impressions. One of the things you have to understand is if a video does really well, if it gets pushed out, right? We talked about how it goes to the first, closest, most active group of viewers and subscribers, and they like it, then they'll suggest it to a slightly larger one. As it gets moved out more and more, the more people it gets served to, the higher probability that it's going to be served to some people who aren't a perfect match for that video. But YouTube understands that. They know that. They know that because this is what they do. So what happens is as it gets pushed out more, your click-through rate can drop, can actually go down. So you can have a really high click-through rate. Like I launch a video and in the first day, it's probably 13, 15%, somewhere in there, which for my channel is pretty good. And then within, 48 hours, it drops down to 6, 7, 8. That's where I really want to live. I know like 8 is good on my channel. That's a strong CTR, but it's because there's a lot more impressions. It's not only reaching the right people who want to see it, but they're testing it in front of people who may not be a perfect match. So some of these huge channels, Mr. Beast was throwing up some of his content and he was showing up his numbers and it was like, 3, 4% CTR, 4.3, 3.7, but it's on millions of impressions. So when you see all of these other channels that are getting higher CTR, a lot of times it's for lower views. I just saw a question in the chat. So by adding links to my older videos in my description, will it help out? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me explain one of the strategies that I share with my clients when we sit down and we get into their channels. This is really important. I really want you to pay attention here. Playlist strategy, okay? Playlist strategy. That's what I have right over here. All of these places to recommend your own content. If you build a playlist, there are a few things you want to do. One of the first things you want to do is make sure that your playlist is a series playlist, all right? Series playlist, it's just a box you tick in the settings of your playlist. And if the videos in that particular playlist are not in any other series playlists, then you can tick this little box and it says to YouTube, hey, these videos belong together. They don't necessarily have to be a series like number 1, number 2, number 3. They can just be all chicken recipes. I'm sorry about the chicken. I don't know why I have chicken on my mind so much. But they can all be similar things that work together and make sense to be in a playlist, right? So if you tick that box, what happens is when someone's watching one of the videos from that playlist, YouTube is more likely to serve another video from that playlist if it's a series playlist, because YouTube uses that information as a cue. They actually list that right inside of YouTube. They tell you, we might take this and use it as a cue to what to serve the viewer next. So tick that box, make some series playlists. Give that extra, put your thumb on that YouTube scale. We want more views. We want to be recommended. We want our content to be recommended next. So step 1, series playlists, really powerful. Build strong, optimized playlists. Don't use things like uploads. I go to people's home pages and they've got uploads. Most popular. Build strong playlists. If I'm sticking to that stupid chicken recipe reference, then you want to say like the best chicken recipes that you can make right now, name your playlist. And then under the description, like I've got, some of my favorite chicken recipes that can be made in under a half hour right here. And then you put all your videos together in that playlist that are chicken recipes or whatever it is you do. Gaming, if you do exercise, if you do fitness, if you do drywall, Paul Peck, calling out Paul Peck. These are things, you put them all together intentionally. But let me teach you something. These 4 things we're talking about right here, right? Build those playlists And when you put those videos together, I want you to do this one. This is a secret sauce recipe that I want you to add to your strategy. Build that playlist. Then look at the videos in there and say, which one of these is performing the best? Which one seems to have the most amount of views? Which one does my audience like the most? Grab that video. Go, okay, which one's the second best? All right, like they seem, this one's doing pretty well, and this one's doing just almost as good, not quite as much. And start arranging your playlists in order from the best, the most, the highest performing, the one that really connected with your audience. Let's make that number one. And then let's put the other ones after it in order. And there's a reason we're going to do this. I want you to go to your second strongest video in that playlist, number 2. And I want you to grab the share link out of there. Grab that share link and go back to video 1. And in video 1, I want you to take that one link, not a million, that one link from the second strongest video. And in the first video, I want you to put it in your end screens. I want to put it in your cards. I want you to put it down in your description. And I want you to put it in your pinned comment. One video. We're going to recommend one thing. That's it. A lot of people put like one video in their end screen, a different video in their cards, a different one in their description, a different one in their pinned comment, hoping that something will connect. That can work. It sometimes works. I'm going to tell you to do something different. Be intentional. We're going to sell one thing. We're going to sell you this. It's apparently a chapstick. We're going to always talk about this. So when you're in your video and you say, hey, I've got chapstick. You're 80% of the way through the video, a card pops up that says, you should check out this chapstick. Check out this next chicken video. But it's the chicken piccata. Then you get to the end screen, and that chicken piccata recipe video comes up again. And someone goes, why do I feel like I want to see that? Well, it's because you did a suggestive sell with that card. It mentioned it. It scrolled across. They saw the words. It got stuck in their brain. The end screen comes along, and there it is, chicken piccata again. Oh, yeah, chicken piccata. That looks like I should check out that video. But I want to tell them how much I love this video. I'm going to scroll down. They go past your description. They see the chicken piccata recipe in your description. They go down to your comments, and there's that pinned comment at the top saying, hey, if you like this one, you really got to check out our chicken piccata recipe. And you have just sold that one thing like nobody's business. So they leave their comment and go, all right, I'm going to check out the chicken piccata recipe. And we know the power of suggesting another one of your videos, right? We explained exactly how that influences viewer behavior. We're going to put our thumb on the scale. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to take that same strategy. We're going to go to the second video and grab the share link from the third strongest video, come back to the second, and do the exact same thing. And I want you to do that right down the line. I want you to create a playlist where the first video daisy chains and recommends in those 4 places the second strongest video. And then the second strongest video in all 4 places recommends the third strongest video, and so on, right down the line, so that these videos become targeted, intentional. You are your own best salesperson going, if you like this, do not miss this, right? And you get active, and you start pushing those viewers and subscribers to watch one single thing. Try to push them in one direction. Don't be the department store. Don't try to sell them everything. Sell them that one thing. Like when you go into like the store and they'll have those companies will set up a stand where they give out samples and stuff. Be that one thing. Just sell that one thing. You're going to push this one thing. Number 1 video pushes number 2. Number 2 video pushes number 3. Number 3 video pushes number 4. And when you put this all together, you start influencing viewer behavior. Boom. Boom. If you can influence viewer behavior, those people they're just clicking because you've just been selling them the right way. You've been saying, man, I got some of the great stuff you got to check out. And you were intentional about it. They're done watching for the day. They go have their chicken that you taught them how to make. They come back the next day. They open up YouTube. And guess whose content is being recommended to them? Yours. In their subscription feeds, on their homepage. Boom. In their notifications when you have a new video up, because you've made them more active. So when they start opening up things, and there's places where you too can recommend some content to this viewer to get them watching and keep them watching, they go, what's been keeping this viewer watching? That old chicken recipe. Does that make sense to you guys? Can you see what we're talking about here? And it's not, I'm talking chicken, but you know what I'm saying. It can be any one of your channels. Pulling this all together, using a playlist strategy to really push your stuff forward can make all the difference, because at the end of the day, it's not just about sticking stuff in playlists. It's about influencing viewer behavior. And if Bryan G Johnson was here from Mexico right now, he'd tell you the same thing. Oh, look. Nick, good to see you, pal. Good to see you, Brian. Those knuckleheads are in Mexico. If you are anywhere near Mexico, please put a little bail money aside. You might get a call from either Brian or Nick or D. D's probably more likely to end up in jail. So do you see what I'm saying here? These things, so important. The way you put your content together and recommend your content can be super powerful. So look I want to show you a couple other things here today I want to talk about. And I want to do that. Let me see. Does anybody have a channel that they are feeling brave that I can pull up? Anyone in the chat over here thinks they might have a channel that I could look at? Maybe, yes. There's D right now, D Eman. I'm going to try this. Let me pull up D's channel. He's a great example. Because D does something, if you have noticed, if you're not subscribed to D's channel, absolutely subscribe to it. D does something that's really amazing. He's hit 50,000 subscribers. I think he's like 56 now. Let me pop him over here. This is D's channel. Really simple, right? Really simple messaging. If you haven't subscribed to D's channel, please do. Master your mobile with D Eman. Bam. That's all it is. In his channel art, right up there, he's just keeping them right on platform. He's not trying to send them anywhere. Click here to subscribe. This is a guy who's all about trying to get people on the platform, get them watching, keep them watching. But look how he starts putting together some of these playlists. Look at this, mobile video editing apps. Bam, that's the playlist. Learn how to edit on your smartphone using these mobile video editing apps. It sounds silly, but he just puts these all together. He just puts these all together so that all of these pieces of content are working in that strategy, right? And uses all of the places we talked about, your end screens, your cards, your pins, comments, and in your descriptions to recommend more content. He's got more playlists that just make a ton of sense. Make YouTube thumbnails with your phone. Bam. Straightforward. And content that all sticks around that one idea. Guy like D is going to try to get that viewer to keep watching more of his content. So when that person gets out in the world and comes back to YouTube again, they're more likely to be served content from D because he's their guy. He's made them more active. Can you see that? You see how important that stuff is? Let's see who else we have over here. I want to see... let me see who else we got. I'm going to pull up. Come on, someone shout out. Who's looking to get pulled up? Adventures in Dirt. I think you're my guy today, my man. I think I'm going for it. So here's Adventures in Dirt channel. Let me pull it up. All right, nice and simple. Adventures in Dirt. For the treasure hunting community. Real straightforward. You can absolutely understand what he's about. He's got a nice big subscribe on the right pointing down to subscribe to stay current. Not pushing people off platform. He doesn't have Facebook, Twitter, all these other links that are sending people all over the planet. He's keeping them on platform. His goal is to make that viewer get engaged with his channel and become more active. He uses featured content up top. See this big piece of featured content? This is what makes his channel really kick, is he's putting out content. If I were someone who came by his channel, boom, he's got his newest piece of content right up top where I can find it. And when you go into his playlist, Metal Detecting Show, the Weekly Dirt, boom, it's going to tell you exactly about his weekly show, what's been going on. Metal Detecting Finds, Digging with DK, bam, he's got all his finds put together in a way that people can relate and go, well, that's pretty fantastic. I see exactly what's going on here. I know exactly what this channel is, and I know where the value is in it. I know what it's about. So when you start thinking about how you're putting your content together, think about those strategies. Think about trying to link things. YouTube, it's really easy to get wrapped up into this thing where you go, all right, listen, I have a new video. I'm going to put it up, and I'm going to pray to the Lords above. Please, Lord, please, dear Lord, Jesus, Allah in heaven, whichever Messiah you happen to pray to, please let me get more views. And you hope that it goes, and if it doesn't, you go, oh, well, but hopefully this next time I do better, please. But if you start thinking like, listen, your channel is a catalog. It's a catalog, right? It's a catalog of content. And if you start getting that content to work together, right? Think about it as a bigger thing. Together. Get all that content to shake and work together. Get one piece of content to recommend another. Get another piece of content to recommend another. Don't be afraid when you're filming to think about, do I have any other videos that would really go well with this one? Because in your video, when you get near the end, I'm going to go to the chicken again. I'm going to apologize. I don't know what it is about the chicken reference I've got today. But if you're in the middle of that video and you start getting near the end and you're doing that one recipe and you go, you know, I also have a chicken cordon bleu recipe you might want to check up. I'll put a link up here and I'll put it down in the description and comments. Check that one out. Yell it out. You know, you got to yell it out and tell people. Sell them right up here. Click that thing. It's important. I would like you to watch another one of my videos. I can't tell you how many times I've come to a TubeBuddy stream. I work for TubeBuddy. I come to the stream. I start watching. I'm watching Shelly Saves the Day. I'm watching Andrew Can. Up here doing great live streams, and not till someone says, hey, did you hit the like button? Oh, geez, I forgot to hit the like button. I didn't give this a thumbs up. And if you haven't given this a thumbs up, by the way, give this a thumbs up, would you? What are we, kids here? Come on, you know how to use that thing. See, that was me telling you, hit the like. But the reason we do that is because sometimes people forget. They just go, oh, I wasn't even thinking. I was into the thing we were watching or talking about. So sometimes they'll forget to subscribe, or they'll watch whatever comes next, whatever gets recommended to them. So we want to do things that we start recommending our content more. Try to be your own best salesperson and push that content, right? You know YouTube is going to recommend something. They're going to recommend something to keep them watching. We want that next piece of content to be our own. And guess what? If we start getting people to watch more of our content, not only are we recommending it in the cards, in the end screens, in the pinned comments, in the description, but after your video ends or on the side where there's suggested stuff from YouTube itself, your content is more likely to end up there as well. Because you've taught YouTube that viewers like to watch more of your content. They watch one, they watch another. You made that happen. You influenced them. You pushed them in that direction. You took charge and said, listen, I get it, YouTube. It's all about my viewers. It's all about my audience. I need to connect. I need to get them watching and keep them watching. And if I can keep them watching more, it doesn't just change now, it changes things in the future. It changes how my channel will be recommended. It changes how often people will be able to discover, remember? Remember we were talking about discovery? That was really important, right? Because we wanted to make sure that people can actually discover our content. It's got to be put in front of them. The only way we're going to get those views, the only way we're going to get those subscribers, the only way we're going to grow a channel is if our content ends up in front of the people in our target audience that we're trying to reach. So search is great. Keywords are great. Be compelling is great. But start thinking about how you can pull your content together and get your content to recommend your content. Be your own best recommended. Cool? Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense in the chat. I want to show you some other things too that's really, really important. And I'm going to pull up my own channel. I'm going to go into my analytics because I want to show you something that I want you guys to think about. That's really kind of cool. Let's see. And I will pull up my channel right here. Let me do this. Boom. Let's see. Okay, this is my dashboard. Now, you guys are all kind of familiar with this, right? You've probably seen that if you go into your analytics, the first thing you see is your dashboard. And this is where your latest video, let me get my face out of here so I'm not in the way and you can actually see more of it. This is where your latest video will post. Now, I haven't posted in weeks. I was at Vid Summit. I was doing all this. I came running back and I tried something a little different. I posted a little later. You're going to get this immediate bit of information about your newest video and how it's performing. This is so important. If you live anywhere, live right here to begin with, because YouTube will give us right off the bat, they'll give us real-time data about how our video is performing, which is telling us how it connects with our target audience. My current one is number 6 out of 10, and I can't tell you how upset I am about that. It just hit about 2,000 views. If I hover over the 6 of 10, it shows me where it ranked out of the last 10. That's really important. I get to see what's been doing well recently on my platform and where my new video fell. I make a game of this. I try to hit top 2 every new upload. I want to be either number 1 or, if I can, number 2. Number 6 is a hard, bitter pill to swallow. And the reason that this is important, the reason that I want to rank way up there and get my newest video to connect, is because if that video is being served out and people are watching, they're clicking, right? They're clicking, they're watching the video. YouTube is telling me right off the bat, Daniel, we're going to give you the information to let you know how that new video is doing with your target audience. Fantastic. That's what I want to know. I want to know that I'm connecting. I want to know that it's doing well. A lot of times I'll do tricks like this. I'll say, okay, my new video's up and it's doing pretty good. I wish it had more views. You want another tip? Here's another trick. Talk about recommending. If you have a new video up, it's doing pretty good. It's been up for a day or two, and you go, yeah, it's kind of petering out. It's not doing as much as I wish it would. Go find some of your strongest videos on your channel. Take that video right there, that new one. Go over, pick a handful of them, and go stick that new video right into the end screens, right into the cards, right into the pinned comment, right into the description. And leverage some of the videos that are already doing well on your channel to help drive new views to your brand new upload. Be your own best salesperson. Sell it. Put it in there, right? Drop it in there so that you can put a little surge in views from people who might be watching something else that you know has already done well on your channel. And we'll leverage that so that we can recommend that new video you just published and maybe put a little extra push to it. Because if we can just get it to act a little better with the audience, get a few more views, a little more watch time, that's what YouTube's looking for when we first put up that video to see how well it's performing. View velocity. Super, super important. How quickly people click on your video. View velocity is very different than click-through rate. When YouTube presents a video to somebody, if they scroll past it, maybe YouTube recommends it to them 5-6 times, and they kind of pass, and maybe on the 7th time they click the thumbnail and finally watch it. That is very different than when someone first gets served your thumbnail and they immediately choose to watch it. View velocity. How many people immediately choose to watch it when presented with your content? If you can get a video that's really compelling, really strong, people see it and go, oh, I have to watch Mr. Beast, right? Hands on the boat. Last guy with the hand on the boat gets to keep the boat. I got to watch that. I want to see that now. I can skip whatever chicken recipe. I'll get to the chicken in a minute. I want to see who wins the boat. Right? Really important. Use these tricks to figure out every place in your channel that you can recommend more of your own content, right? Super powerful. Live there. Live in that space. Another thing I want to show you guys, when you're living inside of your channel data, right? Here is my dashboard. We talked about the dashboard. I'm a little cropped here, but over on the left, you'll see third one down is analytics. If you click on analytics, it's going to pull up this screen that we're all very accustomed to seeing, the first main screen in our analytics. Now, here's a really important place I want you to live. On this big graph up top, right at the very bottom, see this? It says see more. Click on that, and this is going to bring you to the other place I want you to live when it comes to learning about what content is doing well on your channel. Right here, YouTube is going to give you your top 50 videos currently based on how they're performing for all these different metrics. It's like looking at your top 50 videos for all the data we want to know about them all in one spot. This is why I love YouTube Studio Beta. This is so awesome. So it starts sorting them by views and watch time. So you'll see that these are the ones that are performing for views and watch time. But if you take your mouse and you hover it over, like, let's say subscribers, see how my mouse turns into a little hand pointer? I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of small. If you click on that, it'll resort all these videos based on just that column. Now they're sorted by which one's got the most amount of subscribers in the last 28 days. And a lot of times you'll find out that your highest, we call that converting, highest converting video. Which one do people watch and tend to become subscribers more than other ones? This is how you figure that out. You want to know what your highest converting video is? People ask you, hey, what's your highest converting video? Let me check. I'll go to the big screen over in analytics. I'll click on see more. Then I'll reorder by hovering over subscribers. Now you can also go over to your click-through rate, right? And you can start sorting these by which one of my videos has the best click-through rate over here. Impressions, click-through rate. I can learn very quickly. All right, I've got this one, this Filmora Pro free key. It's got an 11.3 thumbnail, click-through rate on the thumbnail and the title. That's a strong one. That title and that thumbnail are working together well. They're getting people to click when it's presented in front of them. I'm sure the word free key didn't hurt. But under that, I got, right now, my newest one, audio keyframes, is doing really well too. It's got a 10.5 click-through rate. That's a good click-through rate. It's strong. They usually are stronger right when I publish them. But you can start looking at ones that have been around for a while, reorder this by which are the strongest impressions by the strongest amount of click-through rate, and then you can start making decisions about, hey, now that I know that, that's pretty important to know, right? That's a whole new thing. I now know which videos on my channel are getting better clicks, which ones people are liking more. And that is so super important because that's your channel telling you what people like, what connects with your audience, what thumbnails and titles might be stronger. Those videos, we're all talking about that same thing, right? Your videos get put out in front of your most active subscribers, and we want them to click really quickly because it's not just about them watching the video. The way they act is going to set off a chain reaction that will get us more views down the line from not only them, but from other viewers. We want to create that immediate interaction. So go into your data, those two places, the dashboard, make that a game. Whenever you put up a video, try to get in the top 5, top 3. You don't want to put up videos that keep ranking down in the 9th or 10th place. And use that big section of data, see more, right under the big graph, and start learning about which one of your videos has a good click-through rate. And we did talk about that, right? We know ones that get more views, click-through rate can go down because it's more impressions. Right? More impressions, more people watching means could be more people who aren't the right fit. But over time, especially if you've got content that's been on your channel for a while, if they're performing well, you'll start learning which ones continue to get clicked pretty well on the averages. And you'll start learning what a good click-through rate is for your channel. Because people say all the time, what's a good click-through rate? Have you ever had people do that? Like, what's your click-through rate? What's your click-through rate? Well, the average across the platform is between 2 and 10%, but that's just the average. It could be anything. There are channels that do better, but the idea is the only person you want to compare yourself to is you. If you start looking and going, hey, I know videos that do really well on my channel is when they hit like a 6, 7, 8% click-through rate and hold that for more than a few hundred views. Now you can start thinking. Now you can start using your dashboard for when you publish a video and you see that maybe that dashboard analytics start telling you that it's not doing so well, it's not getting a lot of views right out of the gate. You can make some quick decisions. Maybe try changing the thumbnail in the first few hours. Maybe it's like, oh, it's just not connecting. It's not connecting. It's not doing what I want. Try swapping the thumbnail. That one that I just put up, I put it up last night at 7 o'clock. It was tanking. It was number 9. I immediately reworked the thumbnail, put it back up, and I was able to push it up to number 6 out of the last 10. It's a game with me. It should be a game with you. Try to beat your own high score because we're trying to get those viewers to watch more, get more engaged. Every single video counts because if we get them to watch this one more and engage with it more, the very next one we push, they're going to be more likely to be served that video. The other side of that is true. I want you to be really cautious of this. When we were talking about, let me go back to my analytics on the dashboard because I want to make sure that this makes sense to you guys. Is this making sense? Feel free to yell at me if something doesn't make sense. When we talked about that, the dashboard, right? We're right here in the dashboard. You see right here, if we hover over, mine says what number out of 10. This one's 6 out of my last 10. It'll show us the top 10 right here just by hovering. The thing we can learn from this is 2 things. One, it'll start showing us which kind of videos we might want to be making more of, which one's connected better. Which one's connected better? This is YouTube telling us where we did the right thing. These connected really well. Think about what we did in those videos. But if you keep putting up videos that are like say 5, 6 videos in a row that keep coming in, number 9 out of 10, number 10 out of 10, way down at the bottom, what happens is a different thing. YouTube starts learning that the content you're putting up isn't connecting. People aren't clicking. YouTube isn't really smart in terms of understanding quality. You can make the best video in the world, but if people don't click and watch, YouTube just goes, well, I guess it wasn't a good video. The people didn't click and watch. They didn't like it. So what happens is if you keep putting out ones that are way down that aren't performing well, then the next video you put out there, the next one you haven't even published yet, is less likely to be served to people because people haven't been interacting with your new content. Does that make sense? Influence those people. Make a game out of it. Start learning what's connecting, what the right length of videos are. When you make a 6-minute video, you getting people to watch all 6 minutes, a good percentage? Maybe you make 7 minutes and they do better. Maybe a 3. Videos, trying to think about how you can package them. That thumbnail and that title, CTR, those work together. That new video is like a bag of chips on the shelf, right? You're putting a new product out there. I'm into all the food references today. Don't even stop me. So we talk about that new product, right? You want to make sure discovery. You want to make sure if you were in a new store, you got a new product, you want to be on that right shelf, right? You want your product to be right at eye level, not the bottom shelf tucked all the way in the back behind 9 other things. No one will see it. No one will see it. It won't get discovered. So when we do all this keyword optimization and we try to make sure that people are clicking and we try to be compelling, that's so our stuff gets put in front of more people. Get a better shelf, right? In a perfect world, we want to be up front, right by the cash register, between the Snickers bars and the Reese's, right in there, right at eye level, right when people are leaving and they have their wallets out. Get it discovered. Get it to a good place. That's where you want to be. Now, it comes, Josephine, how you doing? It comes down to what the content is, because all this discovery stuff is only about putting your stuff in front of people. And some people get lost here. Some people say, I did all the right optimization. I did the right thumbnail. I got a great thumbnail. I thought the title was good, but it didn't really get the traction. And what it comes down to is the content has to connect with your viewers, right? Let's say you're that placement. You get the perfect placement. I got front, right by the cash register. I'm between the Snickers, the Milky Way, and the Reese's, and the M&Ms. I'm right in the middle. What's your product? Bag of spinach? Yeah, well, guess what? You're in the right place, but people probably aren't going to grab that spinach. They're probably going to go for the Snickers or the M&Ms. I know I would. Probably peanut M&Ms, I'll be honest. That's probably where I'd end up. I'll be truthful with you, right? You got to be the right thing. You got to connect. You got to make sure that the thing you're putting up there, people see it, they want it, and when they get into it, it's what that thumbnail and that title, you fulfill the promise by making that great content. You put it out there and they go, oh, this is fantastic. I love it. We start learning when we put new videos out with that new dashboard. We want to make sure we're in the top 2 or 3 every time we put a new video out, right? Aim for the top. Because the more we keep improving, every time we put a new video out, it's in that top section. It's not number 9 or 10 of our last 10. We want to be up near the top. We want to keep growing. If we do it right, every time we do this, we should be reaching more people. So we should be able to beat our last video because growth is cumulative. And we're going to start using those videos to recommend each other. So across the platform, we're going to say, listen, it's only about me. I'm out here alone. I know what YouTube wants. I know what they want. They want my content to connect with the viewers, and they want the viewers to be more engaged and stay on the platform. So I'm going to start looking at every piece of my channel and figuring out how I can do more of that. Take all those links that send people all over the place and take them away, unless they're there for a reason. If you got a website and you've got like a course you're selling and it makes sense, I get it. Take all those other Facebook, Twitter, Instagram links that are there just because you're filling space. Get them out of there. Let's talk about keeping people on your channel. Let's talk about using your content to recommend more content. Does that make sense? Keep them. Get them there. Keep them watching. Get them watching. Keep them watching. That's probably the most important thing that you can do to grow your channel today. Today. Because the thing that you do right now is the thing that's going to affect how your videos get served to people tomorrow. Think about that. Think about that. You have the power to change the way the algorithm serves your content out. Just by getting ahead of it, by saying, I'm going to beat it. I know what YouTube wants. They want to keep people on the platform, and they're going to serve them somebody else's chicken recipe after mine. I want them to serve another one of mine. I want to be that next chicken recipe. That should be my t-shirt. I want to be the next chicken recipe. Paul Peck, can you get those made for me, please? I'll need them by Thursday. I need 143 of them for everyone in the chat room, please. This is the way that you can start pulling things together. Think about your channel as more than just one video, one day, one upload, one viewer. Think about your channel as something bigger than that. Think about how you can promote your own content and push it right from within your own content already. Because if you can do that, then you can really start growing. Then you can get more views. We're going to set people up so that we're going to influence viewer behavior. That's it. That's all you got to do. Pretty simple, right? So what I want you to do, take this advice that I've given you today, and I want you to go back and look at your channels. Take a good look and be serious about it. When we're done here, I want you guys to really sit with your channel for a minute and go, all right, I heard what Daniel said. Is my content really doing what it could? Are my videos all tied together and daisy-chained in a playlist? Are those playlists recommending is one video recommending the next, recommending the next, recommending the next? Am I doing a great job of being my own best salesman because I care about my channel more than anyone else, right? Our own channels mean more to us than anyone else. So we should be our own best salespeople. We should push our own content. We should be suggesting more content from within our content all the time. That should be our number one goal. Here's some great content, and while you're here, let me offer you some more great content. And please watch this because I think you'll like it. Do that, your channel will grow, you'll get more views, you'll get more subscribers, and you'll meet the expectations that you had when you first started a YouTube channel. It works, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not bragging here, but my channel's new. My channel's new. It's a little over a year old, a year and a few months. It's at like 32,000 subscribers, which is still small, but there was no special sauce I did. I just did this. I just connected everything together and went, all right, I'm going to build something. I'm going to make sure it all works together. And for some of you out there who have only been on the platform for a while, or it doesn't even matter how long you've been there, if you have a channel that only has 20, 30, 40 videos on it, you're still young. So think about building that content out, because the more content you have in your catalog, remember all that stuff we talked about, linking them together, getting them to work? If you can get more content that connects, those are all little seeds across the platform that can grow into something that can, each one can drive more views, and each one can suggest more of your other content. So you start spreading out like a spider web, right? You're just going out and you start reaching more viewers, and each one of those little videos that may not be the biggest video in the world, it doesn't have to be. It only has to do okay. And it only has to keep recommending more of your content in each video. And when you keep making more content, you put it out there, and that content recommends more of your own content. You're building something. You're putting something together. You've got a goal in mind. You're intentional about your channel growth. All right? Listen, it's been great hanging out with you guys today. I really appreciate every one of you being here. I hope all of this made sense. If you have any questions that I might have missed, please throw them down in the comments afterwards, and I promise I'll be back around to answer any of those questions. I love you all. Have a great day. And yeah, go out there and kill it, guys.